Chapter 1.
Chapter 1. Cheers, Miss Martin. Okay, so this is the brand new library podcast. My name is Freddie. I'm here with Harry Bedford. And here with us today, our guest speaker is the librarian herself, Mrs. Payne.
Hello.
So, Harry, why don't you give us a bit of a chat about what we did on the Instagram over the summer?
Okay, over the summer, Freddie and I got up to finding out where the best places to read around the school were.
Indeed we did.
Yeah.
So, our top 10 places in the school included outside the minibuses, inside the gym, and inside this canteen. And we've managed to get a little view into the headmaster's office. So why don't you tell us a bit about that, Harry?
No, we did have quite a chuckle in there with Mr. Wayne himself. We were all pulling a silly face, and then Mr. Wayne saw us, and it just made us all really start laughing. It took quite a few takes to get the final one you guys saw.
I thought you all looked quite normal in that photo.
Yeah, that's after 10 minutes of getting to grip with ourselves.
So, Freddie, what is the Instagram handle?
RGSHW_library. Okay, so Mum, why don't you tell us a little bit about the new books that we have in the library?
So, there's 2 new books. One is by David Goggins called... I always forget this title.
It's You Can't Hurt Me.
You Can't Hurt Me. Or I can't remember the title. So You Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. I've had this requested by a lot of boys, so I will do your bidding, and I have bought a copy. It's been flying off the shelf, seems to be very popular. He seems to be, I think he writes about his backstory, his tortured life, and how he rose through challenges and demonstrates resilience and aspirations. So it chimes with the school's values, and you can reserve this book if you'd like to borrow it, because it's on loan at the moment. I believe it's a must-read. The other book I wanted to share with you today is the latest. Should be a drum roll at this point, by the way. Yeah, that will suffice. The latest book from Anthony Horowitz, which is the Alex Rider range, and it's called Nightshade Revenge. Again, it's out on loan, but you can reserve it, and it's the must-read book at the moment. If you have read that range and you want to read, I think it's like the 17th in the title series, so do get on board to keep up to date with that excellent series. That's all from me on new books.
Great.
Obviously, we're adding new books to the library stock all the time, but you have to be in here to find them, so come and visit me, boys.
And it's always great to hear new books being added to the library, especially from those series of books like Alex Rider. I hear they're quite popular with younger boys.
I can't wait to read You Can't Hurt Me as well.
Indeed, because I hear he had quite an abusive childhood, actually, and he was quite an overweight man, and then he cut down, ended up joining the Navy SEALs, and he was like one of the only ever recorded men to complete like a series of army training challenges.
Okay.
It's actually quite cool, and he's he's got the Guinness World Record for the most pull-ups done in like 24 hours or something. There's something ridiculous like 4,000. It's insane.
Very
the
motivational
challenges
guy.
he does. Yeah.
We need the motivation in year 13 as well.
Yeah, we do. Our studies are grinding us down.
Mom's going to need to get more copies.
I can always buy a second copy if it's in hot demand, that's for sure.
Okay, so this is a little section that we have each week where we ask a question or two from a set of questions that we have to our guest speaker this week. So, Mom, why don't you just tell us a little bit about your favourite book that you have in the library?
So, my favourite book in the library is written by Max Brooks, who is the son of the very famous Mel Brooks, who was involved with the producers. Max Brooks, I believe, is involved in TV and film, but he wrote a series of books which involve zombies. Not a genre that I'm massively a fan of, but the book World War Z is just phenomenal, and I recommend it to literally a boy every week. And in fact, members of staff as well have been enjoying this, and I think Mr. Roe Elliott's enjoying it at the moment. It's a very unique, original take on the sort of zombie apocalypse. I always struggle with that word. And it's a snippets of stories told after a global zombie pandemic. Stay with me. This is a bit of a bonkers story, but it is very well executed, easy to read, very, very clever. And there are some parts in it which are so enigmatic, it will stay with you forever. I will say that the film adaptation, although starring the rather attractive Brad Pitt, was not at all close enough to the book, and therefore was not as good as the book. So if you've seen the film, don't let that put you off the book, because the book is always better.
Always, yeah, I agree with that one. And so every week on this show, we're going to have the guest speaker going to have one's going to leave a question for our next guest speaker that we have each week. And hopefully our next guest speaker should be Hugh Davies, the head boy. So, Mom, What question do you want to leave for him?
So, Hugh Davies, my challenge to you is I'd like to come to our podcast and speak to us about your favourite book to film adaptation, and indeed your worst, in your opinion, book to film adaptation. So that's for our next podcast, boys. Thank you.
That's a good challenge for him.
Yeah, great little challenge there. All
He's
right.
the head boy, though. He can rise the challenges.
He can conquer anything.
Yeah. Okay, so something to bear in mind about this podcast, it is a student-run podcast, so if any of you guys do have an idea about stuff we could get on the show, people we could have on, questions we could ask, things we can do, don't hesitate to come up to us and talk to us, give us ideas, or shoot us an email. My email is 17fsaliers, spelled CILLIERS, at RGSHW.com. So if you do have a genuinely good suggestion for what we could get on here, please send me an email. It is a student-run podcast for the students. We want to make it as personal for you lot as we can.
Yeah, no, same. Mine is 17H Bedford. It's RGSHW.com. And as Freddie said, just email either one of us if you've got an idea or if you would like a feature, and we'll see what we can do.
Okay.
Would you like to give a special thank yous, Freddie?
Yep, so this is coming towards the end of the show now. We've got a couple of special shout-outs to give to. Big shout out to Hugo Johnson for helping us film the trailer for this podcast and helping us get some of the photos done over the summer. That was a great help from you. Thank you so much. And a big thank you to Ollie Henry as well for taking a couple of photos for us. And thank you also to Miss Martin for showing us around the recording equipment. And finally, a big thank you to Miss Bird for also lending us this fantastic microphone that she uses to record her homemade movies with. Alright, thank you for listening. This is the end of the RGS Library podcast. We'll see you at the next one. Go follow our Instagram, RGSHW_library. And once again, thank you for listening.